Alright, let's look at the Pythagorean Theorem, which applies to only right triangles, triangles with a 90-degree angle. So let me draw an example of a right triangle here. And so this is a right triangle. As long as I draw this in one of the angles, or tell you that it's 90 degrees, this box here in the corner means this is a 90-degree angle. When that happens, you can apply the Pythagorean theorem, which says this. We'll label the different parts of the triangle first. The side that is opposite the right angle, which is this side here, is called the hypotenuse. It is the largest or the longest side of the triangle, and again it's opposite the right angle. The other two sides are the shorter sides, and we typically call those legs. So let's call this leg 1 and let's call this leg 2. Okay? The Pythagorean theorem says this. If you have a right triangle and you take leg 1, whatever that length is, and square it, plus whatever you get when you square the length of leg 2, the result is the square of your hypotenuse. Okay? So this is not the same thing as you can't take the square root of both sides and get rid of all these squares, by the way. Okay, so this is a right triangle. You square the first leg, add it to the square of the second leg, you get the square of the hypotenuse. Alright, let's do an example. Here is a right triangle. Here's the 90-degree angle, so this is the hypotenuse. Let's say that I tell you the hypotenuse has a length of 5 and one of the legs has length 4, and the question is, what is the length of the other leg? Well, let's call the other leg x, maybe. Then 4 is a leg, and x is a leg, and 5 is the hypotenuse. So what we'll do is we will square each leg. So I'll take 4 squared plus x squared and then add those together, and the result will be the hypotenuse squared. Okay, so now we just have to solve this equation for x. So x squared, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25. Now subtract 16 from both sides. 25 minus 16 is 9. And so when you square x, you get 9. So x could be positive 3 or negative 3, plus or minus 3, because you can square negative 3 to get 9 as well. However, x represents the length of a side. Well, the length of a side of a triangle can never be negative, so it has to be positive. So in this case, x equals positive 3. So this side of this right triangle has a length of 3. Here's another example. The Pythagorean theorem in this case would say 4 squared plus 6 squared equals the hypotenuse squared. Let's call it x again. The unknown we'll call x. And to solve for x, 4 squared is 16 plus 36 equals x squared. So x squared equals 52. So x, we could write plus or minus again, but we know that x has to be a positive number because it's the length of a side of a triangle. So I'll just write square root of 52 when I take the square root of both sides and flip the equation around. Now, to get an approximate answer here, the square root of 52 is approximately 7.2 to get an idea. So this is the approximate answer. If I want to find the exact answer, I need to simplify this square root. The square root of 52 can break down as 4 times 13, the square root of 4 times the square root of 13, and of course the square root of 4 is 2. So the exact length of that side is 2 times the square root of 13. So this is the exact length of that side. Okay? So depending on what application you're using here, you could give either one of these answers.